Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. I was a little quiet last week, so I'm super happy to be back with you all, and I have a lot of videos to do for you all this week because when you have a little bit of a brain break, your brain works better, right? So I actually had a family in town, and it was super fun and chaotic and exhausting because I have 4-year-old twin nephews, and super fun, super sweet, but a handful to keep up with. So there was not a possibility of having a quiet moment this weekend at all. So that's where I was last week, and I'm happy to be back. And so this week, this is by request, a question request, and I think it's a really, really good question and a very nuanced question. So I love these kind of questions that you might have concerns about, because this is really getting into the juice, the really nitty-gritty stuff of either what propels us forward. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, in the living room. Sorry, get an interruption. Thank you. So live videos, that's how it works, guys. All right, so the question was from one of somebody who, I'm happy to call a person who is a recovery warrior. Is basically the question was, I'm paraphrasing, I'm finding I'm eating a few extra bites here or there, reading off a sticky note, in basically a response to a little thought in their head about just in case eating, and just in case I won't have this again eating. And that's super common. We know that's diet mentality. For those of you who've been at this a while, there's definitely a little bit of fear in that tape. So we're going to talk about that. So I'm finding I'm going to rephrase that. I'm finding I eat a few extra bites at my meals for just in case eating, meaning I'm afraid I'm not going to have this again, and I'm not going to get enough later. All right. So if you're having that thought in your head, thank you everybody for watching live, by the way. If you're having that thought in your head, that's really common. It's normal. Is it normal eating? No, but it's normal when we're working towards normal eating, away from diet mentality and disordered eating. And the secondary part of that question is this diet mentality or eating disordered thinking that I'm even wondering about this? Is this ever going to end? And is this going to hold me back? So let's start with the first part of that question. It's really normal to feel like you need to eat just a little bit extra. When I say extra, it doesn't mean you're eating too much. It just means you might need a couple extra bites, another handful, to get to that place of I'm good and done. That can happen whether you need renourishment or not. You could be at a place where you are fully renourished. You don't need a weight restore anymore, or even if your weight is at a good place, if you've had any kind of calorie deprivation either that day, that week, if it's been going on for days or weeks or months or years, the natural response is going to be when you get around food that's palatable and that you like, you're going to want to get a couple extra bites here or there just because you have food restriction in your past. And the person really didn't ask me how to fix that, but I'm just going to go the extra mile and say, we got to let it be. If you fight it, it just takes longer to let there become a level of trust that you do feed yourself without judgment, and the fear gets a chance to dissipate. And so this was it happened to me. It's I would find myself I want to keep eating that, even though realistically, I probably could have stopped at that moment. I just didn't want to. And it was partially because of the long-term restriction, but mostly at that point, it was about I really shouldn't. There was still some diet mentality. I was wanting to always stop just a little bit short versus err on the side of letting myself eat a little bit more than usual, letting myself get full. I still had the brakes on a little bit with letting myself fully get done. Maybe get into an 8 on the hunger fullness scale and feeling some pressure, or letting myself have fully what I wanted because of my beliefs around what that meant about getting my needs satisfied, because I wasn't using food restriction as a way to prove my worth anymore, or prove that I'm better than anymore. So there's that part. So I really would encourage anybody who's watching this to think about realistically, do I feel like it's okay for me to eat as much as I need, or even that I want? If the answer is no in any little way, You're going to have a little bit of that. And people often ask, well, how long is this going to last? And the answer is, well, as long as you still have some of that thinking, it's going to be there until every single time you want to have just a few extra bites. The more you let yourself have that and let it be and be okay, basically the sooner you're going to get there. And this is actually a thing I don't have a timeline for. Some things I could tell you definitively. Yeah, that's going to go on for probably 8 weeks, or that's probably going to last you 3 months. I can give some people, depending on their question and what's going on with them physically. This question, I can't say for sure when it's going to be done. It really just depends on how willing you are to risk letting go. Letting yourself have those little extra bites here or there and letting it be okay. When I say extra, I don't mean too much eating, too many calories. I don't mean that. I mean like more than you would have, like if you're at a stopping place and then you could feel like you're done, but you want to eat another half of a chicken strip, whatever it is. And then you feel like, okay, I'm done. The more you let yourself do that, the sooner you'll get to that place where some days you'll eat the half, some days you won't, whatever. And it won't be like this thing that you feel like you're fighting yourself with. I think that like feeling like it's a scary thing or a thing that annoys you or a bad thing, there's the judgment that you got to look at, that something's wrong or bad about that part of the process. This is normal stuff. It happens to almost everybody, probably everybody. So I'm hoping that answers the question, is that like it takes what it takes. I think you'll have a better understanding of how long it's going to take for you if you look at how much of me is judging that, how much of me thinks it's bad or wrong that this is even happening. And if you can understand and have faith that this is part of the process, I think the less scared and judgmental we'll be about it. So I hope that answers the question. I hope this was a valuable video for you all. Please let me know for sure if it was down in the comments below. I love doing the nuance videos because I think it's the things that we all have questions about what we don't really know to ask because it's not in the books. You know, these are like lived experiential things that books typically can't teach you. You have to actually take risk and notice what comes up. Like, okay, this is happening. Is this bad? How long is this going to last? And sometimes I have the direct answer for you for that, and sometimes I don't unless I know all the details of your life, basically. Then I can usually tell you, like, for sure. So I hope that helps, and I'll be doing more videos. I definitely am looking for things that you all want me to be talking about coming up. But I've got some stuff in the hopper here to talk about this week, so I'm real excited about that. Oh, and one last thing. There's going to be a correction. I'm going to do that kind of like basically Seeking Satisfaction meal little class. My sign-up said July 9th. It's actually going to be July 6th. So I got to correct that. But if you haven't seen that, I'll put the link here below. It's a free class. If you all hadn't followed my videos before, there's a video probably from 2 weeks ago where I was in the grocery store and I was talking about how sometimes we kind of get stuck and we hit a wall just because we get bored with eating and we don't know what to do, or you kind of get overwhelmed with decisions. So I'm going to talk about that in a free class. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be on a Zoom meeting. You can join live with your questions or check out the recording, but I'm not going to do that live here on Facebook. It's for you all to make some time for and get your questions, answers about, what do I do with boredom eating, or what do I do when I don't know what to eat, and how do I make it simpler to get my groceries in my house and make things work. I really want to offer something that should benefit a lot of people because we've all been there. All right, so if you're interested, sign up. I'll have that link below, but I will be sending out a new link with the correct date on it here, hopefully next day or two. But anyway, it's all the login info is still going to be the same, just the date's going to be different. So July 6th. All right. Thank you all so much. And if you can't make it live, please sign up for it so you can get the recording. All right. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.